up, everybody? Thought about Fast Dad Friday tip for the week, and I want to talk about periodization. So everybody's probably heard the term periodization. More or less, it means breaking your annual training plan, your full year, into different blocks. So you're focusing on different things at different times of the year. I thought this was kind of hard this year in particular. Obviously, the racing season was pretty much canceled. Zwift took off. I mean, it just went bonkers. And so now we have this option to pretty much go full gas year round. So you kind of run into the situation, well, do I just race and just rest here and there? But you're going to come to a point when that's not going to be a viable option. You're just going to notice that you're not improving. So I thought, let's talk about the reason to periodize, or how you can efficiently periodize your schedule. And traditionally, this always was, you have your transition to fall. You have a race season. You finish your race season. You have some time off, and then you have some free riding, and then you do base one and then base two, and there's some weights in there, and then you do build one, build two, and then race phase, and then a recovery phase, maybe a week off mid-season, a return to base, a short build, and then the second half of the season. That's pretty much standard protocol in the United States, at least for a racing calendar. But like I said, there's Zwift options now. There's Strava segments. There's all these things to train for that don't necessarily fall within that structure of a yearly schedule. So I thought it would be good to maybe just think about how you can go a bit about periodizing without having that traditional setup. So you obviously, periodizing more or less boils down to focusing on specific things at specific times. So if you just race and you just do FTP all year round, you're probably gonna get tired, and at some point in the year, you're gonna just take time off. You're gonna take time off. You didn't need to take time off. You really needed to keep your training load consistent. The best way to improve is to be consistent. The best way to see lifetime gains is to train for a lifetime. You can't just train for a year or 2 months or 3 months and then take a bunch of time off and expect that you're going to be getting that long-term progress. So what you can do is, throw in some Zwift races, do a very intense block where you race on Zwift, but then knowing ahead of time that after that block of Zwift racing, you're going to look back and say, what do I need to improve on? And then leave the Zwift racing for a while, leave the KOM hunting for a while, and work on some things like cadence, work on high torque, low RPM work. You're going from one chunk of work to the next chunk of work. And that's going to accomplish a couple different things. That's going to allow you to really focus on one thing at a time and really be committed to one thing at a time, which is a better way to go about training. And it's also going to keep you from plateauing. It's going to keep you from burning out, from feeling like training is no fun. Because the reality is we're doing the same thing over and over. If you did the same interval year round, and the only interval you did was called 6 by 3 minutes, you'd probably get better at it, and then you'd get tired of it, and you wouldn't do it for a while, and then you'd do it again, and you get better at it, and then you get tired of it. So, just like we do different interval durations and different interval intensities, you can focus, in big picture, doing certain things in certain times. Avoiding stagnation is a huge reason to periodize. Just having the enjoyment, getting on the bike and enjoying yourself. That's huge for long-term training progress, for long-term enjoyment of the sport. So periodizing doesn't have to look so traditional all the time. It can be different. So for me, for example, I'm averaging around 9 hours a week. I can't periodize volume. I can't say I'm going to ride a lot now. I mean, occasionally I'll have the opportunity to ride more if I have a parent visiting and taking care of my kid, or if we're out of town or something like that. If we're on vacation, maybe I have opportunity to ride a little bit more, so I'll take advantage of that. And I'm still getting the periodization effect. So like I've been doing the Zwift racing a lot. So I'll race in a big chunk, and then I'll look back on what I needed to do better, what I need to improve on, what's the weak link, what's holding me back from finishing a couple places higher, and then work on that, and then go back to racing and see if that helped me improve my racing. That's a super basic way to do it. It's about to be primo riding weather outside, and then it's going to be winter. So I'm going to go outside and I'm going to have myself a little bit of base. I'm going to try to ride a little bit more. Doing things, just coming up with a long-term strategy and thinking a little bit ahead from where you're currently at is really going to provide you a lot more enjoyment with your training program. And like we always say, consistency is the number one thing. If you burn out after 2 months of training and then you take 6 weeks off or 2 weeks off, you're not really going to be getting that long-term progress. You're going to be going like this and then going back to right where you started. We want to be going like this and then recovering a little, and then going like this and then recovering a little, and then, you know what I mean? So that's my tip. Make sure you're thinking ahead, periodize your schedule, work on one thing at a time, and get faster. Consistency is king. Hit me up, Patrick at Evoke, if you want me to take a look at how I would recommend you go ahead and breaking up your actual training calendar. Thanks.